you go. Thank you. Hello, world. What is up? Welcome to Build. I'm your host, Matt Forte, man. We are here live at the Build Studio in New York City. Our next guest is a born and raised New Yorker. She's a Juilliard graduate. You've seen her in Orange is the New Black, Shakespeare in the Park, and you can currently catch her starring in the L Word Generation Q on Showtime. Guys, the great Rosanny Zayas is here. Make some noise. Come on. I'm excited. She's fantastic. You're fantastic. This is great. We're going to bring her out in just a second, but first, I believe we have a peek at next week's episode. So let's go ahead, run that clip. Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise. Rosanny Zayas right here. Come on, do it up. Let's go. This show's so funny, seriously. And
it's super funny.
It's a little bit of everything. It's fantastic, and you're wonderful in it. I'm so excited to talk to you about it. Just in general, though, how are you doing? How is life? It must be crazy right now, huh?
Yeah. I mean, I flew in from LA last night, and I'm freezing.
Yeah.
It's
a little
cold.
It's a little chilly.
A little bit.
How's the pup? How's Cody?
Oh, Cody.
Anyone that follows you on it just a little bit knows that Cody is a very important part of the process.
He's the boss.
He's it.
He runs it.
I was surprised I saw him on the plane bundled up like a little that was just adorable.
I know. I do that to him, but he's bougie. He loves it.
He's bougie. Since day one, Cody's always been bougie.
Day one.
How long you had Cody?
Oh, he's 3. So
he's 3 now. Oh man, perfect.
Yeah.
Good boy.
Yeah, the best.
So both of you are a little chilly, but making it work here in New York.
Yeah, I mean, this is home. This is my city.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
Exactly.
But you catch a little bit of the LA sun, and it's like,
yeah.
I'm freezing.
That's right. People always, we try to justify it, but if we don't live, well, I'm sure you miss seasons at a certain point. I'm sure you miss having no, it's just nice all the time. Yeah, nobody misses it.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
not a thing.
I mean, out here, it's like, when you're sad, you get the rain, and it's like, oh, the weather, my sadness together. But out there, it's sunny all the time. You're like, okay, I guess I'm forced to.
It's motivating, isn't it?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah,
I guess I gotta get out of this funk.
Yeah.
It is gorgeous.
Yeah.
No, we have that crutch here. It's raining all the time. Well, welcome back. Regardless of the cold and the rain, it's super nice to have you here. I'm excited to talk to you so much about just coming to be a part of this show and all these things. Are you done filming by now? You filmed the whole first season? Are you guys still working?
We're done filming, yeah.
So you just, at this point, you're just going around talking about it and reliving it and all that stuff. That's fun. That's a fun part of the process.
It's super, super fun. We get to just... I love when the whole cast is together and we're just talking about everything about the show. Yeah.
Kind of reminiscing. How did it all start? How did you, because you've been, I mentioned it in the beginning and I'll say it again, Juilliard graduate, born and raised here in New York. How did you come to be a part of this LA show, this amazing show? How did it all come together?
Well, I auditioned like everybody else. I was living here, right? And I had to send in a self-tape. So I sent in a tape, and I heard back from them, I'd say maybe a week or so, a week or two after, and they were like, here's some notes. And I was like, oh, my God, they saw it. Yeah. They saw it enough to give me some notes. And so I did the notes, and then a few weeks after that, they flew me out to L.A., and then I had my final audition there, and that was pretty intense. I had a chemistry read with Ari, who plays Danny, and it's just to see how we fit together and our love together. That was it was amazing because it kind of just happened.
Yeah, it just clicked.
Yeah.
That's pretty amazing. When the original was on the air, were you how old were you? Were you in high school? Were you in Juilliard? Where were you when the?
I was in high school. I think I was 14 or 15 when it came out, and I remember watching it because it was super late at night. I did not do my homework that night or the night that I saw the show, and but I knew what I was watching was important. I didn't realize the impact it was having on me. You're a teenager, you got to go to school and your friends and life and your family. But I didn't realize how important it was until later on. I was like, wow, there are not a lot of shows like this on television.
Well, that's, it's especially more recently, like just last week, I was talking to Kelly Marie Tran from Star Wars, and we were discussing like the significance and like the impact of seeing yourself in the content that you consume, and like seeing yourself represented, and also the weight that comes along with being that person for somebody who's watching at home. And I'm curious, this is very exciting. This is a huge show. You get the gig, but how does that feel to be in those shoes, to be that person for so many people, to represent somebody?
It's a lot. Yeah. I mean, growing up, I didn't see people like me on television. I just didn't happen. Yeah. I didn't really see Dominican women on TV playing lead characters. Like, it was very hard to see Hispanic and Black women take on those roles. And when you did see it, it was like you were glued to the TV. And so for this show, I think it's beautiful that a lot of young kids are going to see this and see 2 generations of queer life and queer people of color and the trans community on there and be like, wow, they're living lives and telling stories just like everybody else on television. Yeah.
I think I read somewhere this is the first character that you've gotten to play that's Dominican American from New York. It's a very personal character for you, very close to yourself. When you have someone that you're playing, and you're playing a character that's that close to your actual story, and you get to bring your perspective and bring your culture into it, does it make it scarier or more challenging to be vulnerable and to really go places you need to go, because you don't necessarily have that wall or safety of like a character to hide behind? It's like you're putting yourself out there in a lot of ways.
That's such a good question. Oh my God, that's so good. What's amazing about it is I think as people we've gotten really good at hiding. That's just it's how you survive, right? You put on your mask and you walk the streets and you're doing your thing. And so when you get to play a character that's very similar to you in ways, I felt like the thing for me that was the hardest to do was take away those masks so that I can actually let myself be there, be revealed to people and my truths while I was working and acting. And that was hard. Yeah. But the story is so important and it's so good that you kind of just have to work with yourself and be like, I don't want to hide anymore. Yeah.
Which is really interesting. Like, I wonder, is there something like you've learned about yourself just through this process of trying to figure out Sophie and figure out what this story is going to be? Has that come back around? Have you brought some of that home with you and like discovered something about yourself through the process of doing this show?
Oh, good. Oh, man, you are
whoever's in charge of my bonus, I hope you're watching this episode in particular because, yes, thank you.
So good. I'm losing my breath here. Yeah, I've learned tons. I've learned so much. So many things. I think something that I've learned is that I feel like for a lot of women of color, it's hard to feel like you deserve a lot of things because the world hasn't really given you much. And it doesn't really set you up for success. And I feel like this show and seeing like even these posters and like, and like talking to people on Instagram and, and going to the viewing parties to see this stuff. It's just like
some of the viewing parties?
Yes.
We're going to talk about that in a second. So keep going.
Yes. Yeah, but it really has shown me like, we deserve good things. Yeah. And I hope people who watch it feel the same way.
What was, I don't know how many viewing parties you've been to or where you've been, but like that experience of seeing other people react and the way they've been reacting to this thing that you worked so hard on. What was that like?
Oh, man, it was crazy. So for the premiere, we, a bunch of the producers and I and some of the cast, we like snuck into a viewing party just to like, cool. We like sat in the back to see like what people, would, how they would respond. And it was crazy. Like one person was like, Tina! And it was just like, wow, bringing it back. And whenever they would see someone, whenever anyone at the party would see someone that they related to, they would just scream. Or they would just be like, oh, okay, damn, all right, I see you. Like, or like when someone spoke Spanish or any different kind of language on this show. It was beautiful to see people like that moment where they saw a piece of themselves on TV. That was amazing.
Just the smallest thing of that, of just hearing their own language and seeing themselves, it can mean so much and be such an impactful moment. And it's just kind of awesome to be able to be present to watch that in action. Because I think it's something we all talk about, but it's so hard to quantify, to understand. But it is immensely impactful. So it's very, very cool. It's also a very risky maneuver, sneaking into a viewing party.
Super sneaky.
You have no idea what you're going to get out of that.
Yeah.
One of the things I really dug about last night's episode, I mentioned this briefly back there, was getting to see the closeness of Sophie's family and seeing everybody together and kind of talking about and kind of contrasting that with Nia's world and like her father and all that. Was that, I imagine you're pretty close with your family. Is that one of those parallels that you got to bring into the show? Was that waiting for you in the story already when you got there? Or?
I mean, yeah, it was, I think showing Sophie's family was a big part of it. But it's just crazy because, all the actors, of course, are Hispanic, and you sit there and you just start to see yourself speaking in the same rhythms, and it's just like, wow, these are my people, and now we're doing this scene together, and it feels so natural and it feels so amazing. It was, and I'm from New York, so we're shooting in LA, and I didn't really know anybody there, but then after that, we all got pretty close. Yeah, it was really, really, really great. Like Jillian Mercado, she plays my sister on the show. Oh my God. The only other Dominican I've met so far in LA. I mean, it was like perfect. It was just perfect for both of us. It was amazing.
And it's also her acting debut.
Yes,
which is pretty incredible.
I know, but she's
kind of
like,
watch and be a part of. She's so great.
She's amazing. She's like, hey Jillian, where are you at? She's like she's a model. She's amazing. Like she's perfect. She's such a great human being.
She's
I love
made
her.
for it. Like,
oh yeah,
so great at everything that she does, and it's so much fun to watch her work. Have you guys talked about just sort of like this is her acting debut? You're a Juilliard graduate. She was like, is there anything actory I should know? Like all the actory things, I'm sure.
I guess yeah, but sometimes knowing too much of the actory things, they get in your brain, and you're like, oh no, stop thinking. But she's so natural. Like it was just so amazing. I learned watching her. Yeah.
One of the things, as viewers, like of course, watching Sophie and Danny, like we've known them for 2 hours. We've seen 2 episodes, but this is a relationship that's been around for a while. These are 2 people that have been together for years. How do you guys fill in those blanks, those things that happen off camera? Like it sounds like your chemistry clicked right away, but now you have to sort of develop that language, that second hand that people in long-term relationships have and stuff. What did that look like? How did you guys work on that?
Well, we met. So when I got the job, I moved out there, and then we would meet and just talk about the show and talk about our lives and things that really resonated with us as people and as actors, and things that work for us and things that might not work for us. Like, just trying to get to know the in and outs of each other and what's really happening. And especially too, we're both in different parts of our lives. So we're going through different things, and to keep that constant communication is always key for that.
Yeah, I'm sure the stress of planning a wedding will have zero impact on bringing any of that stuff to the surface this season. It's going to be totally smooth sailing.
Oh, goodness. What's that thing they say? They say that wedding planning brings the best and the worst out of people. Okay.
It's not even just like little things, just like, the logistics of the wedding are its own thing.
Yeah.
But just like, you just start getting into more and more conversations, and you start to see more of each other. It's just like it's a unique experience no matter how long you've been together. Planning that thing is always
and insane. Family too.
Exactly.
Your family.
Family's getting involved more now. It's a whole thing. Was that stuff exciting to explore and play with throughout the season, having done it all and have it behind you now? Like, looking back, was that like a fun thing to sort of explore and mess around with, like that whole ride?
Yeah, I mean, especially the relationship between Danny and her dad, and then how that would resonate in our relationship. that's something that throughout the season you'll see more and more of. But it was such a fire starter.
That feels like something that like the show is definitely working towards, especially like just like after seeing Sophie's family and all that sort of stuff. You're like, okay, at some point we're gonna have to talk about how this impacts them.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
It's pretty insane.
It's pretty intense because a lot of people go through that, and it's interesting how the show deals with it.
Another great thing the show does, whenever we revisit a franchise or characters that we love, and we get like a reboot or a sequel or a remake, like the original cast members are always like kind of there to pass the torch, but like not in this case. In this case, everybody is growing. It's a continuation. You're working alongside like the original cast members. It's got to be an amazing thing. What was that like day one? Was that scary, just in and of itself, walking in and working next to them?
Yeah, I had to remember to breathe. That I had legs, so I had to keep standing up and, use my voice instead of being like, Jennifer, be okay, Leisha. Like, I actually, had to be there. It was insane because you look up to these women, and they've done so much work, and then you get to be on set with them, and you watch them do the thing that makes them so special. Yeah.
You get to see that happen in front of you, not like
it's real. Like it's real. So
it's like if you woke up and Santa Claus was delivering presents in front of your eyes. Like, oh my God, it's an actual thing.
I'm witnessing the that magic. Would be life goals.
Right? Talking about life goals, was it always for you? Was it always going to be TV and film? Because I know you did a bunch of stage work, Shakespeare in the Park and all that. Like, do you miss the live audience? Was it all kind of building to a gig like this, or was it just you just wanted to act?
Well, I actually started off, I always wanted to be a singer. I loved singing. I love music, and I love singing. And then it just changed. I felt like I wasn't getting enough out of music at a certain point of my life, and then acting just kind of like took over.
Yeah.
And theater was always my home. Like I always remember the reason why I started theater was because as a kid I never felt heard. I always felt kind of invisible. And then I started doing theater, and it was that first moment where it was like, oh wow, you have to hear my opinion about this. You have to hear what I have to say. You can't ignore me anymore. And I think that's like the beautiful thing about theater is that you're there live in front of so many people, and they have to hear what you have to say, because if they don't, they're going to miss it. Because you only get that one opportunity. TV's different, right? You can press rewind. You can like save it. But I think the difference with TV and film that I've like come to appreciate so much getting older is my mother, at a certain time, she couldn't afford a $150 ticket to go see a Broadway show, or even more now. But with TV, it can reach so many people. And that's the beautiful thing about both, Theater is like, you're here, you have to hear me this one time. You only get it. And then TV, it's like, it can go so far. Yeah.
It's a wider net. More people can hear that message, can hear your voice.
Yeah.
Is your mom watching the show? She proud of you?
Oh, she's proud. Yeah. She's proud. I mean, that she saw the first scene and she lost her mind.
I wasn't going to bring up that first scene.
I mean,
you as a person with a mom, you wonder these
anyone
things
with a mom
would wonder, like, that first scene. Did you call her, give her a heads up?
So what happened was she wanted to watch the show with me on FaceTime, watching her watch the show.
You're like, that's okay. You just watch it, and then we'll talk.
Exactly. So I told my sister, hang the phone up and record this whole moment, because we will all want to have it for the rest of our lives. And she hung up, and we recorded her watching it, and she felt her feelings. She loved it. By the end of the episode, she was like, oh my God, did she really ditch school? Stop it. Who she sleep with? No. Like, she loved it.
She's all in 100%. She's had to get over that first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
Amazing. Before we get out of here and wrap things up, we got some questions in the room. I want to make sure we get questions from the fans. I got at least 2. I'm getting the signal over there. So let's go ahead and get our first one. You've got a microphone. Go for it.
Hi. I wanted to ask if besides your character, there are other characters that you see yourself in or relate to.
Ooh, just in TV, all of it?
Yeah, sure.
I'll never forget the first time I saw Selena. That was like, that changed my life. Seeing someone act, dance, sing, like everything. And, you know, coming from a family that didn't have much opportunity, that was a day in my life. That was amazing. I'm trying to think of other characters. I mean, I remember too watching Orange is the New Black and being right on there. And then I got to do it, which was pretty amazing.
It's amazing.
That was crazy. Yeah, so I feel like, recently more and more characters are coming out on TV that are like, oh my God, they can change so many people's lives. But I'll say one for sure, Selena.
What do you remember that day that you were on Orange is the New Black, day on set? You walk in, you're there. Again, you got to remember to breathe.
Right.
Mind yourself of your legs. Well, what was that like? First thing you see, and I can't believe it. I'm here. I'm on the show that I watched so much.
I just wanted to do a good job. I just wanted to go there and do a good job because that story too is so important. And about immigration and it was intense. It was heavy, and actually it was amazing to see all the other actors, like, they took it so serious. It was so seriously. It was such a huge moment. I think it was one of the first moments working where, because you know it's such a fun job to do TV. It's so fun. Yeah. And so and so everyone is like, usually it's just like fun, but this was like such a big moment in time that it was like we all need to put everything we got into this. And it felt like that on the L Word too.
That's one of those things, and that's where a lot of like my curiosity about how you guys sort of reconcile those two things. If it is a really fun job, you are doing the job. This is the thing that people dream of being able to do, and it is fun, but there is a lot of responsibility, and there are a lot of people that are counting on you guys to do things a certain way, to live up, and all these different expectations, and sort of balancing the idea of this is the dream job with, man, I don't want to let the world down, and kind of like how you live in that space and what the tricks are to put those things out of your head. You know, how do you do that?
Well, for me, it's always been about knowledge. Like I feel like I came onto this job and I took on the responsibility for myself or made sure that I'm coming into this with as much education as possible and like knowing more about even more cultures out there and communities and what's happening. And so it's always, every day there's more and more and more, which is amazing. But to be able to know that we all still have things to learn because the generations are changing and moving and everything's happening. Yeah.
Thank you for your question. Can I do one more? Let's do one more. Go for it.
Hi.
Hey.
I was wondering if besides this cast, if you have any other dream collaborators.
Oh my God. Dream collaborators. Wow. I'd say, Issa Rae. Issa Rae. Man, oh man, she is killing it. Yeah. She is killing it. And she's serving her community in a way that's just like another one, life goals. And putting out content that's so important and funny and relatable and that everybody's watching. And she's definitely like, oh man, I would love to just say hello. Just breathe the same air she's breathing in the same room. So maybe I could do what she does one day. Amazing. Yeah.
Do you think you'll ever go back to stage, do anything in theater again?
Ooh, yeah, one day. Yeah, but I want to see where this goes, this journey takes me. But theater is always going to be my home.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for making us part of the ride and part of the journey. Super awesome having a chance to talk to you. I want to remind everybody, if you haven't checked it out yet, the L Word Generation Q, it's on Showtime Sundays, or you can catch up and Showtime, they have streaming. You can go ahead and watch the episodes you've missed. It's a fantastic show. You're awesome. Thank you so much for hanging out with me.
Thank you so
I hope you had fun. Thank you guys for being a great audience and hanging out with us, asking wonderful questions. Do me a favor. Make a crazy amount of noise. That's Rosanny Zayas right there. Thank you so much.
Thank you.